Welcome to today's episode of Shoot the Shot. We have an exciting day and an exciting podcast for you today. We are talking NBA hoops mainly today. So I'm Adam Linkeanuger alongside the great
Alex Jones.
So let's jump right into it. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to start off with last night's game. So let's start with Miami and Charlotte.
Okay.
So this is a game yesterday that I personally thought Miami was going to win. You made a pretty strong argument that Charlotte was going to get it done. It was a pretty competitive game, about a 6-point game, give or take, going into the half. Maybe a little more than that, maybe 8 or 10. But what do you think happened for Charlotte to run away with a 125-113 win?
First and foremost, Parker looking like, 5 seasons ago. His former self out there.
About 35. Looked about 35 last night.
Yeah, he was out there, battling not only the Heat, but Father Time as well. He dropped 24 points, 11 assists. And this is off the bench, by the way. He was definitely productive, gave a lot of emotion, and that's what I like to see out of, Tony Parker.
Sure, I like Dwayne Wade regardless of the loss. Dropped 19 on him last night. He's looking a little younger, too. Must have iced the knees. Hassan Whiteside, I need more scoring from him. I was a little disappointed there. So, this is a game where it wasn't pretty. From what I saw in the highlights, I have to admit, man, can I just make just let you know something?
What was that?
I didn't watch any games last night. I watched The Purge, man.
How was that?
Oh, man. So if you haven't watched, you got to check out The Purge. I'm telling you right now, it's like the movies, but it's like a TV series, an episode a week, that walks you through the stories of these crazy people who are either purging or they're in the process of getting purged. So it's a little weird, but I recommend it, man. If you're into weird stuff like that, give it a look, man. But anyway, back to the game. Good game. You're right. Charlotte won. Miami didn't.
Thank you.
You
I
suck.
appreciate that.
You suck. All right. Next game, Battle of the Bad. We had Atlanta in Cleveland.
Speaking of purging, both of these teams need the purge, to be honest. They definitely need the purge.
Well, I tell you what, Cleveland looked like they could actually play defense yesterday.
Shockingly.
Right? So here's what happened. Lou's out. Their coach is out. So just like any team, I had this in high school, man. When one of our head coach actually left, and then we came out, man, we thought he was the problem. Now we're good all of a sudden. We came out and actually won a game ourselves in high school, just like the Cleveland Cavaliers did. But I have a bad ending to the story. The next week, we were back to sucking again.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that Cleveland, again, dropped 136 in this game, more or less led throughout the game, dominated in the second half. They are, riding that high of this situation, but it's going to be back in the dumps for them here soon.
Well, you have to realize you have 7 Cavs scoring in double figures, led by a Rodney Hood of all people.
Wow.
26 points.
Wow.
On the opposite side, you got Trae Young with 24.
Hey, he's doing his thing, man. Trae Young is doing his thing. I had my doubts on him. I didn't think he was going to be. I wasn't expecting him to be an NBA player. But obviously, we got to work on that defense if you're going to be giving up 136 points. So, all right. So the next game, my team, the Sacramento Kings got it done. I like the Sacramento Cats because half the team used to play for Kentucky. I love this team. I think that they're going to continue to get better. You beat me down and said Orlando's going to win this game. Well, guess what? Buddy Hield dropped 25 on him. Aaron Gordon, for the most part, he had 18 points. He didn't do anything too special.
Not really.
So what happened, man?
Like you said, Buddy Hield, double-double. You can't argue with 25 and 11 from a point guard. You really can't, especially when that 11 is rebounds and not assists. So that shows that he's definitely hustling. Eric Gordon, you're supposed to be, at this point, you're building up to be the franchise player. So you gotta show us more than that, and you have to do what you can do on a consistent basis. Willie Cauley-Stein put up 11 rebounds, and that was matched by I know I'm gonna butcher this, Vucevic.
Sounded good to me.
15 rebounds by him.
I like it. All right, let's move on. We got Detroit and Boston. This is a game we said Boston would get it done at the end. Their guard play was too strong. But I'll be honest, I did not expect. Man. I did call the 20 and 15-ish from Blake, but we're missing a big here if you're Detroit. Where's Drummond? So, where that happened. But let's talk about the other side of the ball. Let's just talk about the winners. We're going to not talk about Detroit. Kyrie Irving showed up. He had been averaging about 14 a game coming into this. Dropped 31 and 5. What did you like from Kyrie?
Oh, man. Uncle Drew was on a mission last night, man. He cut the throw off and just started going ham. First and foremost, he hit one with a behind the back, made him fall, came back with the behind the back, goes to the rack and finishes strong. That's just Uncle Drew-esque mentality from him. Towards the end of the game, he's banking shots off just to win, just to put them over. They started to give up a little lead towards the end of the game. Even let Detroit almost come back. With a chance to tie the game, Detroit has a bad inbounds play.
I saw it. Throw it over the top. Man.
Marcus Smart hustling. That man, like I said, he is definitely undervalued.
He did like a second base slide into that.
Slide into the ball.
Like slide tackle soccer style. Just got the ball. It was
Kicks it to Kyrie.
Hey, well played,
It's
man.
the game.
All right, moving on. We have the hands down best team in the East. I said it. Toronto, 129 over Philly. Led the whole game through. Won every quarter but the fourth. What did you see here, man?
I saw a inexperienced Philadelphia. Like you said, they were getting their butts handed to them at the beginning of the game. Quite frankly, Kawhi Leonard was going off. At one point, I thought he was doing no-look passes, but he actually got hit in the face. He did not come out the game, but he stayed in. I was a little worried towards the end where Toronto started giving up the lead, and Philadelphia brought it within a single-digit deficit, but they were able to close them out, hold them to the.
Well, my thing here is Ben Simmons is going to have nightmares.
Yeah.
He called Kawhi Leonard a freak after this game because Kawhi, to be fair, Ben Simmons had a triple-double. The only problem was one of his columns was turnovers. He had more than 10 turnovers in this game, and that's not only because Ben Simmons was making poor decisions. He was being guarded by someone that was just better than him.
Yeah, definitely.
And he was being guarded by someone that he had never gone up against before. He has never had a player like that defend him, and it showed. And I tell you what, Ben Simmons is going to have trouble this year looking when he's facing Kawhi Leonard. I think Kawhi's already in his head, and I think it's just going to be a tougher season I really do. That's what he said after the game is he's a freak, man. Yeah. He's a freak. He's got big hands, and he tore him up, man. It was bad. All right, let's go on to your boy in Portland. So we've got Dame doing his thing as usual. Portland versus Houston. Houston, we have a problem. It is official. It is bad. It is bad. What the hell is going on in Houston, man?
I would love to just put it all on the fact that they have to mesh and the fact that Harden is out currently right now. But you're playing at home. You're 1-4 at the start of this game. Your only mentality should be putting up a big fat W, not an L. You have multiple missed open shots to start the game off.
It was ugly. We're talking about a Houston team that dropped 15 points in the first quarter, and their most points in a quarter in this game is 26 for the Houston Rockets.
How do you win like that?
Questionably the most offensive outside of the Warriors, the most offensively powered teams. The other issue is, who else? This game was just so bad. Chris Paul played bad. The bench was horrible. Carmelo's shooting 25-30% on the season. In fact, I saw a stat. I believe he's around 138 out of 145 active players in shooting percentage right now.
16% last game.
16%.
12 shots, made 2. And I just got to know, what is the game plan there in Houston? So your most ball dominant ISO player goes out. Right? And you guys don't start running more plays. You just run more ISO.
Man, I don't know what the mindset there is. Again, I've never been a fan of their coach. I've never been a fan of their team. Even going back to where D'Antoni was the coach of the Lakers. I despise him. I despise the way he coaches basketball. When things are bad, as an LA fan, I remember he would never adapt or adjust, or, you know, at least from the outside looking in, he never would make those changes, and the game never would adjust. So it was frustrating to watch. But this reminds me so much of that talented Laker team that was dealing with the injuries. And when we were talking about Dwight, and we're talking Nash and Kobe, that huge letdown season. And this is what it almost feels kind of the same. Like it's going to take a turn for the worse, and possibly even get worse. Because Chris Paul, you know, he missed a couple games here, but he's staying relatively healthy.
Exactly.
If Chris Paul continues to be Chris Paul, we know that he's going to most likely have some injury problems. And then what happens then if these injuries keep coming?
Well, I guess we'll just have to see. Followed. Oh, my bad.
Oh, go for it, man.
That followed up. We had Washington and Memphis. Washington took that L at 95-107. I'm actually very surprised at that game. I definitely had Washington winning that, but you can't win when the Grizzlies open up the second half on a 18-1 run.
You know, we're picking on Houston because they're supposed to be the better team, of course. But what the hell's happening with Washington as well?
Trumpson. Oh, wait.
I mean, they're a 1-6
wrong
right now.
Wrong podcast. I was going to say they're sucking because Trump's in office, but you know, I'm not going to touch that.
Oh no! Don't make it political, man.
I ain't going to touch that one.
All right, so we're 1-6 right now in Washington. John Wall puts up 22 and 7, but again, it's looking rough, man.
What more do you want from the guy?
You know, I want him to have teammates. I want him to have a team that actually plays to win. Because this game, I mean, they were competitive, don't get me wrong, but it's not the Washington Wizards from last year. It's not the Wizards team that I know should be competing for an Eastern Conference championship, which I believe they have the talent to do.
Yeah.
This is ugly, man. This is ugly. I think, you know, we've got Houston out west, and then we've got the Lakers, the Lakers as well out west, but then we've got the Washington Wizards in the East that are just terrible right now.
Yeah, them and the Cavs.
So we had one final game. The OKC Thunder actually looked like they should look, beating the LA Clippers in a 128-110.
This was actually fun to watch. You got Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook going back and forth with each other. You know, they have a little bit of a rivalry going on from when Beverly injured Westbrook back in Houston. So you got Westbrook going off at 32. They're throwing lobs to each other, you know, just doing what they want to. Gallinari was the highest scorer for the Clippers. He scored 27. Paul George heated up with 12 rebounds. Westbrook had 8 assists. You know, they actually combined, him and Westbrook combined for 64 points.
Really?
64 points last night.
Well, you know, I mean, we can talk about the offense, but I want to talk about the defense. Because if you look at this game, OKC was getting waxed the first half.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was a game where I literally thought LA Clippers were going to run away with it. You know, I was looking at the stats. I'm like, you know, during a commercial on The Purge, I was looking at the stats, and it seemed like, you know, it seemed like Clippers were going to run away with it. But then, guess what? Third quarter comes, OKC drops 39, 39, and held the Clippers to 10 points. They took the quarter by 29 points. How unreal of a quarter is that? Then they even finished strong and won the fourth against a team that, you know, the Clippers figured it out. They came and they attacked, but still dropped that quarter 35-33, where OKC, you know, was just bringing it. And they brought it. So what an interesting line, though, to see a team lose the first half pretty convincingly
and come back and dominate
in a 39-10 quarter.
That's one of those movie halftime speeches, you know.
Like what was that halftime speech?
Somebody lit a fire under somebody's ass.
Yeah, no kidding, man. So really, really good games last night, and it's just been a good season, man. Yeah. I've really enjoyed the NBA season thus far. Are my teams doing well? No. My teams it's hard to watch. We'll talk more about Lonzo specifically in a little bit. But, you know, it's been a really, really fun season. I'm loving it. I don't know about you, but if it weren't for The Purge, I would have been watching the games last night, man. The Purge. All right. So let me ask you a question, man. We're going to go straight to the Bucks, man. They're playing ball.
Yeah.
But are they a serious threat let's just say in the East right now.
Yes.
So you think going up against a Toronto team?
Yes.
Yeah?
I'll stick with that. I'll throw a yes out there.
Boston.
Yes.
Philly.
Of course, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Now, all right. So let me clarify. I'm saying that they're a threat. Am I saying that they're better than these teams? No.
Will they win?
Probably not.
So I would have them. I think that they walk on Philly. I think they beat Philly. Boston, I think, is an equal match that could go. It could go either way. I have Toronto beating them. I think Toronto gets it done against this team. I love this team. They're fun. They're a cool, young, electric team. I love watching a team that is good for the first time. You know, and when I say that, don't get me wrong, they had a good season last year, but this is a really, really, really good team that kind of seems starry-eyed, that kind of seems like there's magic in the air, and maybe they can actually do it.
And they're big.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Oh, they're huge, and they're talented. You know, and they're only going to get better. So do I think that they're a threat? Yes. But do I think they're going to beat Toronto? No.
Okay.
Could I see them competing with Toronto in the Eastern Conference Championship? Sure, I could. But are they going to make it into the finals? I don't think so.
Well,
not this year.
If Kawhi stays healthy, then probably not. But
yeah,
we'll have to see how he looks.
Hey, we'll see. We will see. All right, let's go on. Let's head out to L.A., man. We've got Lonzo stating that he needs to be more engaged.
Wow.
Well, no crap.
You know?
I mean, he looks like he's, watching reruns of Ball in the Family in his head when he's playing a game.
You know?
I feel like he's never engaged. Maybe it's just the way he looks, he appears. It just doesn't seem like he
cares.
Right. I mean, and again, I'm not saying he doesn't care, but the way he appears, body language is a big thing. Whether he means to or not, if I'm, LeBron and I see Lonzo jogging up the court with his head down, his chin tucked to his chest, looking sad, I don't know how I feel about going into battle with him.
Yeah.
And I'm just not convinced that Lonzo, saying you need to be engaged and just doing it there are very, very different things. I don't know if you can just cut on being engaged. Like, I feel like you have to already have that. There are players who just have that. LeBron is engaged. Kobe was engaged. The greats, MJ was engaged every single time he stepped on the court. And is Lonzo any of those players? No, of course not. Of course not. But do I expect him, at the one of the biggest levels of NBA basketball, playing in LA with a lot of eyeballs on him, to be more engaged looking? 100%. To be going after the ball? Right. Right? Like, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. And to be fair, I like Lonzo as a player. I like him. I like his skill set. I like that he's shooting better. But I've never felt like he truly cares. Yeah. And again, it could be visual, it could be body language, but that's what I'm getting from it when I watch him play. So I don't know. I don't know how you become more engaged, but yes, Lonzo, I agree. Good luck. I agree. You need to be a little bit more engaged there, buddy. I hope you get it done. All right, moving on. Question for you. What would the Cleveland Cavaliers record be if LeBron James was on the team? They steamrolled Atlanta last night. What is the Lakers record right now? 2-5, right? What, Lakers? Yeah. Yeah, so it would probably be the same thing, considering that these teams, to me right now, look like they mirror each other. I agree. I mean, defense. Yeah, I could see. Obviously, they win last night with LeBron. Yeah. I could see them winning 2 more games. Because they're in the East. I mean, they've had games where it should have been wins. Mm-hmm. The other thing is there's been other injuries. There's been other team drama going on with Lou and with everything that's going on. I think that they could win. They could be at 3 wins right now, but nothing more than that. LeBron would have definitely brought a lot of change to the team, obviously. And the other side of it, though, is a LeBron James Cleveland team going back when they know that they pretty much are going to walk to the finals, start off pretty lazy. Yeah. So I wouldn't have expected a big start from them regardless. Even if they had that championship team talent like they did a few years ago, I don't think they would start off well. Again, three wins tops. Maybe they'd be like a 3-3 or 3-4 style record. So
hopefully they pick up.
Cool. So we touched on it some, man. Anything that you want to add when we're talking about the Rockets?
Honestly, I think that they just need to do something else. They need to have a better game plan than just playing this ISO ball. If you're trying to keep up with Golden State, and that's the goal. They said it last year on numerous occasions. We want to beat Golden State. Golden State got better. Y'all got worse. You lost Ariza. You lost Mbamute, who were both key defensive players, and Ariza was an offensive option. Now you pick up Carmelo Anthony, who I was hoping was going to do something this year, who became an offensive.
Oh, he's doing something.
Yeah, he's become a liability. You know, like it doesn't make any sense. You're running the same system. I said this to somebody yesterday. Insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Eventually it'll work. Eventually it'll work. Eventually it'll work. It's not working.
The Houston Rockets are the worst team in the West right now.
And that's embarrassing.
And I'm not saying that their record is the worst, which it is. I'm saying they are the worst.
Nobody knows what they're doing in Houston right now.
Yeah, because the only win they have is on a Lakers team that should have won the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, had not had the fight, the drama. Again, it was a 1-point game in the fourth quarter against a messy Lakers team, an ugly Lakers team, a pickup basketball team of, the Muds, the misunderstood players that were playing pickup ball that LeBron just selected for his team.
Hey, let's go. Let's run a few.
This is a team that has played together, for a few years in Houston.
And only added a few pieces.
Yeah, and they're talented. I mean, they were a game away from a championship.
Which they should have won.
Right. And this is what we're seeing now. And I don't think it's going to improve.
Yeah.
I think that it would not shock me if the Houston Rockets this year were the D'Antoni Lakers of past.
D'Antoni definitely has a history with his teams falling from grace. So y'all looked good. It was fun while it lasted. I definitely pulled for you guys last year. I had a few bets riding on you guys last year. I just can't do it this year. I can't.
Right. Do us a favor. Head over to facebook.com/shoottheshotlive. We go live every single day when we shoot our podcast at 1 p.m. Eastern, typically. We want to hear your thoughts. Help us craft our podcast by talking about subjects and information that you want to talk about. Okay? Let's move on. I would like to hear you as a listener. I would love to hear your opinion on this as well. So come over to Facebook and let us know. Alex, who is your rookie of the year so far, and is it close?
Luka.
Is it close?
No.
He's got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're 7 games in. He is the best player.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, he's great. He's getting up 20 in 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, as a rookie. I think I watched something yesterday that was talking about him that his statistics have never been done by a rookie. I don't know whether it was the double-double average or the certain numbers that he had. Maybe he doesn't average quite a double-double, but it's pretty remarkable what he's doing. His experience is showing, man. It's pretty incredible to watch this dude.
My biggest thing is if you can impress Dirk Nowitzki, you got it.
Right.
You got something there.
Well, he's definitely done it.
Yeah.
He's definitely done it. And, I mean, I love watching that kid play. He's fun. That grown man play. He's a beast, man.
Definitely.
So going into tonight, we've got a few games tonight that I just want to run through. We've got an opportunity for some bad teams to win, including my Lakers. So this should be interesting. All right, we're going to run through, give our predictions. The first game is at 7:30 Eastern tonight. We've got the Detroit Pistons going into Brooklyn, 4-2 Pistons versus 2-5 Brooklyn.
Pistons will steamroll them.
Yep, I think so. It's just too deep, too much under the basket. We've both Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond are projected to start. We've got Reggie Jackson, Stanley Johnson. It's just top to bottom outside of the D'Angelo Russell, Reggie Jackson comparison. I don't see how Brooklyn's going to compete.
Yeah.
8 p.m. we've got Indiana coming in at 4-3, heading into the New York Knicks, who are 2-5 right now, and arguably playing better than what people expected.
Yeah, and that's interesting in itself. I still have to give that to Indiana. I mean, same thing with Detroit. They have better depth. Mm-hmm. They have a better star.
Right.
And they're just good. They mesh better.
Right. Oladipo rolls. Your boy Tim Hardaway just ain't going to be able to keep up.
He's not going to keep up with him.
Yeah, I agree. All right, another 8 p.m. Eastern game. We have the Denver Nuggets, who are playing incredible right now, 5-1, heading into Chicago, who are at a 2-5 record right now.
Chicago doesn't stand a chance against the Nuggets. They've been playing at such a high level. Jamal Murray has been impressive once again. I just don't see the Bulls, especially after what just happened to them. I don't see them recovering anytime soon.
Yeah, I think Jokic just puts in work. I think Millsap plays well. Gary Harris continues to play a game that he deserves to get paid for versus just collecting that check. If y'all don't know, Gary Harris makes crazy money. It's wild to me. I don't get it. Jamal Murray's playing great ball. I think Levine gets it done as well. I think he has a good game as well.
He's been showing up. Followed by that, we'll have Utah Jazz versus Minnesota. Obvious the Jazz will take that. Teague's actually out, and Butler is out as well.
Wow. Okay. I think Okagi is going to play. I think he's going to do really well. Mm-hmm. I think that, he's a player that I look at as being a competitive piece like Mitchell was last year, mm-hmm. And Donovan Mitchell. So I think this is going to be a good head-to-head matchup where, don't get me wrong, Mitchell's the better player. But I think it's going to be really good. I think if you haven't been paying attention, Derrick Rose is playing ball.
Yeah, he has been.
He is playing ball. He is looking good. And my thing about Derrick Rose that I really, really like about him is on Players Only. He was interviewed, and he humbly said, my goal is to be a sixth man of the year. Mm. For this to be a former MVP that had his fall from grace due to injury, his game was taken from him because of injury. For him to come in and say, hey, I have a goal to help my team and be sixth man, I love that. I love that. Good for him, and that's a goal that is attainable.
What's also crazy is when you look at the fact that Butler is being rested for this game, I wanted to know why. And when you check their upcoming schedule, they have the Warriors on Friday. Mm-hmm. So basically, I feel like the Timberwolves think they have a chance to win, so they're going to rest Butler. They treat, this Jazz game as insignificant, and I think they want to try to make a statement Friday.
It's frustrating to me because I think Cat could play really. He's going up against a solid Rudy Gobert, mm-hmm. but I love Cat's skill set and Karl Anthony Towns. I think that he could make this a good game for him. I do feel it's weird the whole, we're 8 games in, we're resting,
players.
And not veteran older players either. And it's not like we're on the front of a back-to-back, right? Mm-hmm. Like play him. He's got a good break. It would be a great game and a good win for them. It's just frustrating. But I'm with you. I think Utah gets it done, even though I think Derrick Rose, Okagi, and Cat play really, really well.
They might show us something.
Right? Next, we've got New Orleans Pelicans 4-2 heading into hell. Yeah. Golden State Warriors heading into Oracle. What do I need to ask?
No,
man?
Not at all, man. The next game.
Right. So hopefully, if you want to see an NBA record get broken, you may want to watch this game. I think that we could. I imagine we could see a Steph Curry being competitive here and coming out firing
and trying to break.
Yeah, and record. It's pretty incredible how this team feeds off of each other. And I really like how Klay was kind of that forgotten piece. This year. Because it was Steph was averaging 34, Durant was averaging about 30.
Then Steph drops a 51-point game.
Right, and then Klay, was kind of getting forgotten a little bit. Well, no one's forgot about Klay now. Everyone knows that Klay's on this team. I think Klay's going to get a little extra attention from the New Orleans Pelicans as well, which is going to give Steph an opportunity to go for 40+.
Yeah, definitely. After that, we have Dallas Mavericks versus the Lakers. Who you got?
I got LA, man. I'm going to have LA in every game. I'm not going to say we're going to win, but that's who I'm going to be cheering for. I'm going to say LA does get this done. They are at home. LA's been a fun place to watch games this year. Mm-hmm. It's an energetic, a lot of new fans for LA, which LA already had a lot of fans coming in. But I think that you're going to see Brandon Ingram really struggle guarding Luka. I think he's just too skilled. I think Dennis Smith is going to have a game because our perimeter defense is questionable at best. I do like seeing Josh Hart at shooting guard. I personally would like to see Kuzma as our small forward right now. And DeAndre Jordan and JaVale McGee are going to have a really, really poor offensive game against each other because they're so long, and defensively they match up really well to one another. I'm not saying that they're the greatest defensively, because if you put a big body on either one, they're going to have a little bit more problems. But against one another, tall, lanky defenders, they're going to kind of balance each other out. So I think LeBron is going to have a big game here, and the Lakers are going to get it done.
Yeah, I see it being a real close game, but I agree with you on that. Definitely the Lakers on this one. And the final game of the night will be San Antonio Spurs versus the 1-5 Phoenix Suns.
Lucky to be 1-5. They're playing ugly ball too, man.
Yeah.
Spurs walk them. I think the Spurs look great. I like Spurs. I like DeRozan's playing good ball with them, man. I like them. It's a shame that Murray went down. Their point guard went down early this year and won't be back. But tell you what, Brian Forbes has come into this game and he's playing ball.
Yeah.
He's a good shooter, good solid point guard. He is poised. I think this is an opportunity for him, and he is taking it. He's playing really, really good ball. LaMarcus Aldridge looks like, I haven't watched a lot of Spurs over the last couple of years, but he reminds me of watching him 3-4 years ago.
He's playing at a high level.
Playing at a really, really high level. And, against a Ryan Anderson, or if you want to switch off, put an Ayton on him, he's going to have a field day.
Yeah.
He's just too talented, too big if you go small, and then too talented in skills if you go big on him. I think it's a pretty safe win for the Spurs.
Unfortunately for the Suns.
Right.
But what's new?
What's new in what, man?
What's new in the Suns?
Nothing. Same Suns team, just not really improving. Standing on the shoulders of a player that isn't even playing Booker. I don't think he's even playing tonight.
Yeah.
So there you go. Good luck to them. So that does it. Coming in to a few different games tonight. We're going to be back tomorrow to, again, go over each game piece by piece, analyze, and go deeper. Do us a favor. Head over to Facebook, facebook.com/shoottheshotlive. Interact with us. Help us mold exactly what we want this podcast to be. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to this podcast. It helps us out. It helps us know that, hey, we're doing something right. You're enjoying it, and that's what matters to us. That's why we do it.
Yes, sir.
So thank you so much for listening, and we will be back tomorrow. And never be afraid to shoot the shot.
See ya.